If you're enjoying my videos, make sure you go onto the bottom, click onto the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me if you click onto the subscribe button. Thank you. Hi guys, Mons here. On today's episode of All About Mons, we're going to go through the Europa League final between Man United and Tottenham Hotspurs. First of all, I would like to say congratulations both teams to making it to the final. But both of the teams have had a terrible season for what they would like the season to have panned out to be, especially Man United. Especially after getting the new coach about a quarter way through the season, and I felt like Ruben Amorim has been very poor for Man United, especially in the league. Like I don't remember us actually beating a decent team convincingly in the league in a long time. And also there was a stat there I read that Ruben Amorim hasn't had didn't have a back-to-back victory all season long in the Premier League for Man United, which is completely poor. It's not acceptable if you're a Man United fan. I know some of the fans will say, "Oh, back the manager, this and that." However, the manager's come in with this idea of playing the formation of playing 3-4-3, and I believe as a manager you have to be able to adapt. You have to be flexible, and also I do believe you should believe in your philosophy. However, he's not flexible enough, in my opinion. He's literally dead stuck on this 3-4-3 formation. But at the moment, Man United don't have the players to play that, and at the moment it's quite glaring that the United team aren't used to that formation. But you could make an argument in his case that it's best starting now, so next season you reap the rewards. However, this season has been very poor. Any other manager would have probably got fired. His saving grace is probably Europa League final, and I believe even if he doesn't win that Europa League final, he could be in trouble. But from what I've been hearing in the news about the Man United owners, they feel like they're going to keep him anyways for another year at least. See how he gets on. And also, I'm going to touch on the Spurs. I feel like I like Ange, their manager. However, he's a great speaker. However, I do feel like he's a bit condescending at times. Whenever you hear him speak to the media or fans, he reminds me a lot of Greg Popovich, that coaches the Spurs in basketball. Great speaker, great leader. However, he's very condescending in the way he talks to the media, he talks to fans. He always appears to be, he looks down on people a lot, which I don't like that trait in managers, because his players probably love him the way he treats the players, because it seems like it seems like a type of manager that players would love. However, towards the media or fans, he seems very condescending. That's just my opinion on it. Amorim himself has very similar traits. A great speaker. Honestly, I have seen Amorim done so many interviews. I haven't seen a Man United done that much. Man United manager do that many interview in a very long time. However, I think he's trying to build a good rapport with reporters. I know Eric Ten Hag didn't have that with the reporters in England. The reporters were always out to get Eric Ten Hag with tricky questions when he was in England. So I think Amorim is learning his lesson. He's given literally anyone that asks, well, most people that ask for interviews, is giving them an interview so he can build good rapport with the reporters and the media, which I think it can work in your favor, but also it can also work against you, because the way I'm seeing it is that he's trying to cover up for his mistakes. And he's going out there every time taking blame. But what about you do some coaching? What about you actually prepare a team, and maybe if we're losing 1-0, maybe change something small in a team. Maybe play two people up front. Maybe just do something different. You can't just be stuck in a 3-4-3 every single time. Like you see, for example, the new Liverpool manager is brilliant the way he adapts his game plan to wherever their team are playing. Sometimes Liverpool are a proper counter-attacking team. Sometimes they kind of slow the pace down, and sometimes you just sit back and let the other team attack them, and then they counter-attack, or they're on the front foot. Like it just depends. It literally depends on the game. It literally depends on the opposition. That's what I like to see managers do. You adapt to the situation. Also, I do believe you should believe in your philosophy. However, you can't just be blindly believing in your philosophy without adapting in game. Like adapting in game is what I believe top managers do. Pep didn't do when he first came to England, but now you can see Pep is starting to adapt as well. Especially the last couple of years, Pep adapt in game as well. Amorim, I think, will have to learn how. When Amorim took over, I think we're 3 or 4 points off Man City. I think we're fifth or sixth position. However, we fall all the way down today. I think we're in the 16th position or 17th position. I think we're in the 16th position now. We're just ahead of Spurs. That's what I'm saying. This is basically this Europa League final. The winner gets to save a bit of face because you're in the Champions League next year. However, the loser is going to all come crashing down. Like, I can imagine if Man United lose on Wednesday, what are the fans going to say then? Like personally speaking, I don't think it's good enough the season we've had. I believe the manager should get reassessed at the end of the season, whether we win the Europa League final or not. I like him. I believe he's a good coach. But like I said earlier on, I do believe he has to be a little bit more flexible. Being so stubborn in your philosophy doesn't help you. Like you see with Pep, like I previously touched on, Pep eventually start tweaking it in game. Where I believe Amorim, he just sticks with that 3-4-3. If we're winning, stick with the 3-4-3. If we're losing, stick with the 3-4-3. If we need a goal, stick with, like, I don't understand that. Managers are supposed to be flexible, in my opinion. With Tottenham, Tottenham play the brand of football every neutral love to watch. To be fair to Tottenham, they have had ridiculous injury crisis throughout the year. I think that's the only argument you can make for Ange, saving Ange, because of the injury crisis they've had throughout the year. I believe if they didn't have that many injuries, they'd probably finish a lot higher than they are now. Last season they finished 5th, so they'll probably be in similar position if they hadn't had a lot of injuries. With Man United, we might not have had a couple of injuries, but most of our players have been fit for most of the year. And obviously the big revelation this year has been Ahmad. Ahmad has been fantastic before he got injured, and obviously now he's back again. In the final, would I start Ahmad? No, I wouldn't start Ahmad in the final. I believe he should go for the same team he's been going with in big games, where he plays obviously 3 at the back. If Lenny Yoro's fit, you play Lenny Yoro, Maguire, and probably Mazraoui, or maybe Luke Shaw, depending if Dallow's fit to play right wing back. And obviously Dorgo is going to be out on the left wing back. And yeah, I think you stick with the Casemiro and Ugarte in the middle of the park. Like I said, Casemiro has been fantastic in the Europa League for us. In fact, whenever we need a goal, we need something, we need a spark in the Europa League, Casemiro has been the main guy for us. Like, I believe the way he changed his game around this year has been fantastic. At the start of the year, I was saying, yeah, he has to be gone. But now I feel like maybe we give him a year. Maybe we give him another year at United because you need that experience in the dressing room. And obviously, the 3 up top would be Bruno, Garnacho, and Højlund. Højlund is probably one of the worst footballers I've ever seen play for Man United as a centre forward. His touch is horrible. He can't finish. He's gifted physically, but he doesn't use it. He just falls around. He doesn't work hard enough as well. So he's probably the only one you probably look to taking out. Maybe start Bruno in the false 9 and use Ahmad and Garnacho on both wings and start Bruno in the false 9. That could be another option for Amorim. I don't think he likes using the false 9. He likes having a focal point up top, like he did with Sporting Lisbon. So I don't know if he's going to use the false 9 with Bruno and take Højlund out and play Ahmad on the right of the number 10 position and Garnacho on the left of the number 10 position. In my opinion, I would stick with the starting 11. If things don't go well, halftime you have to take Højlund off. Then you have to take Højlund off. With Spurs, depends on who's fit. I hate wishing injury on the player, but I'm kind of glad Kulusevski is not fit, because Man United haven't been beaten Spurs since 2022. So I hope we don't let Spurs win the final. But this year, you see teams winning the trophy for the first time in a long period of time. Like Crystal Palace won it, Newcastle won it, and who else won it there over the weekend? I know Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and I can't remember, some other team won a trophy that they haven't won in several years. This could be the year of the underdog, and if that's the case, then Man United should win it then, because we're the underdog. But no, I'm not joking. But if it's the case of the underdog, then Spurs are going to win it. But however, United cannot let Spurs get that trophy. It's vitally important for United to win this final, because Amorim is going to stick with that system, so he's going to need lots of money in the summer, and the only way you can get lots of money is by actually qualifying for the Champions League. So I hope to God that we actually win that final. I feel bad for Spurs if they lose. However, the game is a game. Hopefully I come back here in a couple of days' time after the final is played and celebrate United winning the final. And also, if you have any, don't forget to go onto my page. Make sure you click onto the subscribe button at the bottom. And if you're enjoying my content, make sure you also leave a comment if you have anything you want to debate about. I'm always open to debate about anything in sports whatsoever. Thank you very much.